Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. This video is all about using animal manures correctly in your garden. You have to use them the right way or you're going to run into problems. Now, this product is cow manure. This product is not good or bad. It's an example of what happens when you buy manures, and this is what you have to pay in mind no matter what brand that you're buying. So first question I get is, should the manure smell? And it should not. This should be very low odor. There should be no odor. If manure is fully composted down, it's usually a dark brown or black, and it has little to no odor. And it's really important that you know that the manure that you're using is fully composted down. This says here, composted low odor. It's somewhere in that composting process. It's not 100% broken down. Why is that important? First of all, when you pick this up, it doesn't look fully broken down. It also smells like a cow, smells like a barn, and this is just way too much odor in here for this to be composted down where it needs to be. So if you're buying bagged manures, it's going to vary. And sometimes you buy the same product. Like I've bought this product before. It's completely black, it's broken down, there's no odor. Today, it's this light brown color, and it smells like a cow just stopped by here. So, when you're buying the bagged manures, it's going to vary. When you're ordering manures or you're getting them from a farm, it's going to vary. It's on you to make sure it's broken down, and this is why. If I were to lay this on the bed right now, plant into it, put seeds into it, this would continue to break down. It's going to actually take nitrogen from my plant, and your transplants may look yellow, your plants may look stunted. That's because the microbiology that's breaking down this manure is using the nitrogen in the garden to finish the composting process. So number one, the key is that you have to make sure your compost is fully broken down. So fall is a great time to buy bagged products that are on sale. Let them sit 4, 5, 6 months. I'm in Maryland Zone 7. I'm putting my beds to rest. 4 or 5 months later, this product sitting in the bags is going to continue to break down. Poke some holes in there, let some moisture go in, let it, get some air, they'll be fine. Or dump it out into a pile somewhere. Let it break down, use it come spring, it'll be broken down. Or you can do what I'm doing here. I'm going to put down an inch, and you can see right here, see how that white fungus, the mycelium probably, is still here? That means it's still actively breaking down. So in the fall, it's October 1st, you could put down an inch of the bagged manures. It doesn't matter how much it's broken down. Just let it sit there for that 4, 5, 6 months, and it's going to break down, and then you can incorporate it into your soil, mix it in, and it's not going to harm your plants. The other way that you can use it, if you were going to use it as a top dressing, these plants are already established. I could put manures around here. They would break down on the surface, and all the good stuff will kind of get pulled down into the root zone. The problem happens when you take manures that aren't fully broken down, mix it in the top 4 inches of soil, and then you try and plant into it. That's when the composting process or the microbiology is taking nitrogen from the soil, and it's challenging your plants. That's why it turns yellow. I wanted to cut in and answer these 2 questions. What if I used manures, or even compost, that wasn't fully broken down and mixed it into the top 4 or 6 inches of my garden beds? I planted, my plants look small, they look yellow, what do I do? Well, again, remember, the microbiology wants nitrogen to break down this manure. So you add in extra water-soluble nitrogen. You want to use water-soluble because that nitrogen is immediately available. So I use fish emulsion. You can use any water-soluble. And then I would water the garden bed once a week, soak it in with the fish emulsion, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, until you see your plants green up and start growing. You're basically jacking up the nitrogen so that the nitrogen can be used to break down the manures that you put in and also feed your plant. You're basically giving the space more nitrogen than is needed to take care of everything. And why do I need manures and compost or organic matter that's fully broken down or fully composted down? That's so that the organic matter is fully broken down, the microbe process has stopped, and what's left is really nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all that stuff your plants want to use and your plants can use right away, and there's no activity going on that's challenging your plants for that nitrogen. Here's an example of what fully composted manure should look like. It should be a nice dark color. Compost should be a nice dark color. When you pick this up, there's no odor to it. I just put it down. This is actually compost I make for my garden. A little bit different than animal manures, but the idea is the same, is that you want these to be fully broken down. And when something is fully broken down, that 100% composted, it has no odor, or it has very little odor. Sometimes it even has a sweet odor to it. Just an idea of what it looks like when it's fully broken down. Now the manure that I'm showing you is not fully broken down, but you could, again, like I was talking about, put down 1 inch on top of plants that are already established. It will break down over time. It will take care of your plants. But if you mixed this under composted manure into the soil and then tried to plant, it would challenge your plant for nitrogen. But you could just put 1 inch down. And again, this smells terrible. It smells like a barn. So that was a long way to answer the first question. Should the manure smell? And it should not. It should have very little odor. The second question I also answered is, how do I use it directly in my raised beds? And you can put it on top, like I said, right now. Let it break down over that 4 or 5 months, fall through spring. It'll be good to go. The other question I got, which I also answered, is how come when I mix in manure and I put my plants in, they turn yellow? And that's because the composting process hasn't fully occurred. Now, the problem is you're never going to really know if the bag product that you buy regularly is 100% composted down, but you can do this double check. You kind of look at it. If there's a lot of particles in it like this, it's not broken down yet. If you saw, when we were looking through there, we saw the mycelium. It's not fully broken down, and the odor is there. It's not broken down. So you would really have to wait to incorporate this into your soil. The way you get around it is you can order any animal manures. You can get whatever bag stuff is on sale. Put it somewhere in your yard for that 4 or 5 months, October through March or so. Let it break down, and then you can come and incorporate it right into your soil. I hope that gets rid of some of the mystery on how to use manures. It's a little bit confusing because you can read on any packaging that it says composted, low odor, ready to use. That's just not true. You have to kind of put your hand in here, look at it, smell it, figure out what's going on. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be talking about using compost in your garden, and I'll continue to talk about how you can put your beds to rest in the fall, get them ready for next spring. Again, thanks for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. And I also have a new podcast out. Check out the video description. You can get a link to the podcast that I'm doing with Callie Kim over on the West Coast.